This video is different. Let's say this is the second part of that video. This part will be more serious since I have a lot of solid evidence. Unlike the first part, where deep down I knew I didn't have that much proof, which is why I decided that video would be pure rage bait, or however you want to see it. Anyway, I'm Capoid, and I'm going to expose many things with the main goal of informing. And no, Danny, or better known as Panas Blockade, telling the truth doesn't mean I'm going to spread hate. I recommend that you stop making assumptions without informing yourself first, ignoring the fact that you're spreading misinformation to your community to try to silence me. But anyway, we'll talk about you later. This video is long, and I'm going to talk about many things, so get comfortable. We'll start by talking first about content creators. Let's begin with this guy, whose real name is Yandel. This person was exposed a long time ago thanks to a document that you'll find in the description, although I should warn you that it's not translated into English. But that doesn't matter, because I'll give you a brief summary of the controversy. As a curious fact, he was recently unbanned because, according to him, he matured and changed. Personally, I don't believe that, but oh well. The first thing Yandel did was make dark humor jokes about sensitive topics and tragedies. Here's the proof, and if you're wondering why I censored some things, you'll find out later in the video. Another thing he did was try to defend his dark jokes, as you can see below. Yandel also didn't want to change the moderation team. He showed little to no interest in properly moderating his server. Explicit images were shared in general channels, NSFW content in external channels using Nekatina commands, repeated rule breaking, among other things. Throughout the entire controversy, he usually didn't admit his mistakes and didn't take moderation in his server seriously. Community guidelines on Discord were frequently violated, and no one took action. He was aware of the kind of people he had as members of the moderation team and showed no interest in changing them until he was sanctioned. I want to clarify that I am not accusing Yandel regarding the NSFW issue, since according to him, he didn't know his moderation team went to such extremes. However, what I do accuse him of is not changing the moderation team, despite saying that they gave him cringe, and that he wished they were more normal, which gives us a hint that he probably had some idea of the things they were doing. Yandel also allowed Gatito Fino to be defamed, and he himself spread misinformation and allowed misinformation within his community so they would believe that TV Redby was entirely to blame. And the final accusation against Yandel was that he withheld information from the Blockade Battlefront staff regarding some leaks shared by the ex-tester Juanchi. And here ends my brief summary. If you want broader context about the controversy, you'll find the document in the description of this video. Without further ado, let's talk about the next person, Panas Blockade. Do you remember that I had censored this image? Well, yes, Danny actively participated in these jokes. Not only that, he also blindly defended Yandel despite knowing that he was defending the indefensible. Currently, in his Discord server, he still has Juanchi in important roles. The same Juanchi who was responsible for spreading misinformation to Yandel's subscribers, claiming that everything was TV Redby's fault, and also for spreading manipulated images to defame Gatito Fino. Even knowing all of this, Danny continues to keep this person in important positions. Also not long ago, Danny was accused of being a pedophile, involving his ex named Hylan, and while he managed to appeal his ban and prove otherwise, in my honest opinion, Danny was only unbanned because the alleged victim he was grooming basically allowed herself to be groomed. That's my opinion. Now let's talk about Ardilla Peruana. Ardilla Peruana, honestly, unlike the previous ones, hasn't had that many controversies. The first one was that he was banned for cross-trading, and then he started blaming me for his ban. My friend Quenta12 had to explain everything to him, and afterward he released a statement clarifying everything. A few months later, there was only 1 day left before his account was supposed to be unbanned for cross-trading, and right at that moment, he said the N-word, which resulted in a permanent ban. Out of anger, he started spreading the false rumor again that I was the one who got him banned. However, I have to admit that out of everyone exposed in this video, he's the only one I've seen genuinely change for the better. So I suppose, good job, mate. While I was editing the video, I was just told that after he was banned for saying the N-word, his server became very strange, even though that was already 6 months ago. So I hope he really has changed. Now let's talk about the front commander. Before talking about the front commander, I want to add something to the accusations against NousFront, and that is that, just like Danny, his current Discord server has Juanchi as the owner, a very chaotic person. But anyway, now let's talk about the front commander. And I'll be honest, I'm completely disappointed in this person. You were a promising individual. Supposedly, along with Plushcam and Speaker Ram, you were going to be the salvation of Spanish-speaking content. But you disappointed me greatly. You had your ideas, you were gaining fame, and you were reaching my level. You were about to impress me, but you ruined everything. Let's start from the beginning. I found out that you were associating with problematic people, and I was concerned, so I sent you the document about the controversy surrounding them. And pay attention to this. The same person read the document and was aware of what they had done. And even so, you decided to form an alliance with those people, bringing your community together with individuals who had done very questionable things. And on top of that, breaking your own rules. I was also banned from your group, and you decided it was a good idea to hide my ban from your community by spreading a false rumor that I left your server on my own. And unsatisfied with that, you also decided to mock my situation, while making it clear that you admire Juanchi, the same person who, as we mentioned, did horrible things. Normally, these things wouldn't affect me, but hearing him say them honestly did hurt, because from the very beginning of his YouTube career, I decided to support him when no one else wanted to. I did it without expecting anything in return. It was genuine. I saw potential in him. I gave him advice. I saved him from bans, and I warned him about many things so he wouldn't make the same mistakes that many other YouTubers in this game make. He almost impressed me, but like I said, he ruined everything. And what saddens me the most is that he denies everything, throwing away what was once our friendship. I also had a conversation with him that was truly disappointing, where he actually dared to say that he never mocked me. Instead of telling the truth and apologizing, once he realized that I knew everything, he started making excuses, saying it was just humor. Humor is supposed to be funny. The only thing you did was throw my trust away and lose my respect. And once the conversation ended, you went back to mocking me again in an even more open and shameless way. The entire conversation is about how you contradict yourself to try to look good, even when the evidence proves otherwise. And now I'm here to expose the most absurd thing he dared to say. He claims that Yandel is innocent, when a long time ago I sent you the document, you read it, and you were fully aware that these were bad people, yet you still did everything I asked you not to do. And not only that, you call him innocent, when the Blockade admin himself confirms that everything he did is true. And he's even banned from Toilet Takeover and several other games. My God. Honestly, the only thing I have to say to him is that I'm completely disappointed in him, and I wish him the best so that he can change, mature, realize his own mistakes, and become more self-aware. From what I can see, you've recently been saying that I'm only going to tell lies, spreading misinformation to your subscribers and to people you meet in the Blockade Battlefront server. But it's a shame. You're only further confirming my accusations. I never imagined you would use your credibility and fame to try to save yourself. But it's over. You forced me to do this. Next, you'll be watching a recorded video showing all the things I presented in this video so that you won't be able to lie again in your life. And now it's time to talk about my ban, and I'm sorry, but before that I need to add an extra point to the accusations against Danny. I'm not doing this on purpose. While I was editing the video, things came to light, so I hope you understand. The new accusation against Danny is that he sent inappropriate content to an alleged minor, and obviously I can't show that evidence here, so please rely on the statements made by the admin Cuenta Doce. I'm going to explain this very simply. Danny sent inappropriate content to someone who was believed to be underage. As Cuenta Doce explained, that person lied about their age, and it was never fully confirmed. Plus, they could later claim to be of legal age to protect Danny. However, the key point is that Danny himself understood that this person was very young, and even so, being older and therefore more aware, he decided to send that kind of content. Even if the other person now claims to be of legal age, that doesn't change the fact that the content was sent under the belief that they were underage. I hope that's clear. After that, I really have nothing more to add. The screenshots speak for themselves. You essentially avoided a ban thanks to Cuenta 12's goodwill, but not everyone would act the same way. What was done was ethically wrong. After a long discussion about third parties, it's my turn. I'll clarify my ban and share some interesting details. First of all, the reason for my ban was that I was supposedly the owner of a Discord server where there was questionable content. Let's debunk that. As you can see, this is how it should appear in the audit log when someone transfers ownership to another person. Now, let's go to my Discord server where all of this supposedly happened, and you'll see that there is no record of an ownership change. If I were the owner, I would have the option to transfer absolute power. And if I were the owner, I wouldn't even be able to leave the server. So originally, I am not the owner of this server. Now let's talk about the questionable content. I'm not going to deny that I myself made jokes about pedophilia. If I did so, it was because the victim themselves was making those jokes. If those jokes had actually affected the victim, I would never have done what I did. And regarding the mockery of deaf persons, I was unaware that this was happening. But I'm also being accused of knowing about those jokes and supporting them, which is completely false. And here is the evidence. When I found out about it, I went to talk to the person who made those jokes and questioned them. I never supported those jokes. Instead, I fulfilled my role as a friend by trying to make them come to their senses and mature. And now let's clarify something ridiculous. I'm being accused of having Sagaz as a community manager on my server, someone who has made many mistakes. But unlike the other individuals, my server was private. Meanwhile, the other accused individuals still have questionable people in important roles on public servers. That's the big difference. Obviously, if my server had become public, I would have removed Sagaz from the community manager role, a role that was even sometimes held by TV Redby. Having the role didn't mean anything since the server was private and still under construction. Everything was provisional. Let's respond to these comments. I already explained that crying about Sagaz having a role in a private server is pathetic. Many of the things you say about him weren't even known to me, and you didn't provide any proof either, so I consider most of them to be false. And forgive me for being a good friend. I understand that you're upset because I'm still friends with him, but I'm not going to throw our friendship in the trash just to look good. All humans make mistakes. Of course, there's a limit to that. Sagaz made many mistakes, and that doesn't mean I'm going to stop being his friend. I should support him so he can become a better person. What would be wrong is supporting his mistakes, which never happened, but you wouldn't understand that. And since you're calling me pathetic, why don't you go bother admin account 12 instead? He's still my friend and we have a lot in common. Nice talk, buddy. You fall into the void. My server is currently public because I was betrayed. As you can see here, this person leaked my server, and you can see many people joining right after. What's ironic is that this same person also made jokes about Danny and the controversy around him being a pedophile, and even doxed Danny. And even though I was told that this issue has already been resolved, and that it turned out to be AI generated and Danny stated it was fake, there are still many suspicious things. In the same doxed photo, there is a key phrase at the bottom that says, "I don't want criticism." If the photo were AI generated, Why would you say that? If you had used AI, you would have made yourself look perfect. Another suspicious thing is that the photo has pimples and is low quality. AI normally doesn't add those kinds of skin imperfections and usually produces high-quality images, so Danny could easily say it's AI to protect Rudy. That's what I think. In the end, it depends on your judgment whether you believe Danny's statements or side with my suspicions. Rudy, too. Betraying my trust and siding with the wrong side by supporting questionable people wasn't enough. He was also one of those responsible for reporting me and sending the evidence. How do I know this? Easy. The image below is one of the screenshots that got me banned. Just look at the logos at the top. And now the photo above is just a random photo from Rudy's phone, and as you can see, they match. So yes, Rudy was one of the main people who reported me. And even with this background, you still managed to get important roles on the Ardilla Peruana, the Front Commander and Panis Blockade servers, and probably others as well. Then, after all this happened, you decide to act in such a shameless way. Pathetic. Rudy was also banned from Toilet Takeover. In this screenshot, I asked a Toilet Takeover moderator if it was true that you were banned, and although they didn't want to tell me the reason for the ban, I can imagine what kind of wrongdoing you must have committed. Now it's time to talk about you, the community. I've come across some comments about me that are both very stupid and annoying. For example, I've seen that many people say I never did my job as a tester, but think about it for a moment. If I hadn't done anything, as you claim, then why did I manage to get promoted to advanced tester, or better known as active tester? Another funny thing is that many individuals claim that the game has had invis licenses for a long time, and let me debunk that. I present to you this person, who we could say is one of the main representatives of everything related to game licenses. As you can see, he has roles in different servers, which means those games are licensed, but if you look for this person on the Blockade server, he's not there. So that means Blockade does not have licenses, and it's not in their plans to offer you a good future. Let's also not forget the strong blind fanaticism that many of you have. For example, in this YouTuber controversy, a lot of you insult me and say I'm lying, among other things. I can't wait to see your faces when you watch this video. If you keep defending them despite the evidence, then you have no awareness of your own environment, not to say you're just fools. In Siren's case, with just a simple statement from him, many of you already stopped believing me, even though I was a tester. Just one statement with no proof. Meanwhile, I at least gave you some evidence. But don't worry, because in the end I'll show you something that could change your mindset. This whole situation with Serene and the YouTubers only reinforces the idea that the community is very easily manipulated and has a lot of blind fanaticism. It also reminds me of the Invis controversy. Many people make videos like interview with a former Invis employee, but in the video, they never give solid proof that the person is actually a former worker. Basically, they use their influence to deceive you, taking advantage of blind fandom, the usual stuff. It also bothers me how much they exaggerate the reason for my ban. Literally on TikTok or Instagram, you can find jokes worse than the ones I made that people have normalized, but they get offended only when it suits them. But of course, when it comes to Siren, since they're his fans, they don't say anything, despite him having done very questionable things, like saying the N-word and other stuff that, if I had proof, I would definitely expose. The point is that this community is very blinded. And as I promised, it's time to show you my secret weapon. Honestly, I'm not proud of the actions I'm about to take, but there's no other choice. I'll give everything I've got. All of these statements were made by one of the current tester managers, someone who is more important and has more influence than a simple tester. That is what my secret weapon is about. At first I didn't want to leak this, but because of certain things I discovered about this person, I no longer cared about leaking it. If he was willing to throw our friendship in the trash just to look good, then I guess leaking this isn't so bad. And it's funny how he now insults me, calls me a failure, says I'm seeking attention, and that I'm lying, when the evidence I presented to you clearly contradicts him. It's too obvious that he wanted to hide the fact that he once agreed with me and that he knows the game situation very well. It's a shame he decided to speak badly about me behind my back. This controversy really affected me a lot. It made me lose many things, but not everything is bad. Thanks to this controversy, terrible people are no longer associated with me. Basically, I was saved. And I learned to value more the people who decided to support me and not speak badly about me, such as Orange, Cretart, and Account 12, who, unlike this person, didn't try to look good in front of others by saying things that turned them into people who don't deserve my respect. In the end, nothing was genuine, but what else can be done? I hope that what I've shown you makes you change your mind. Something extremely serious has come to light. Do you know Kat, currently called Lin? He is a pedophile who was banned for inappropriate behavior and, as you already know, for doing bad things with many minors. Now that you know about this person, let's move on to what is truly concerning. Currently, this person is of legal age according to many people, and as you can see, he is Danny's boyfriend. The worrying part is that Danny seems to have threatened me, so I wouldn't talk about his partner. And this is very disturbing because Danny is a minor and Kat is an adult. All of this is completely wrong. I don't understand why Danny agreed to be in a relationship with this person and support him. Not only that, this person is in your Discord server with important roles. And worst of all, he is lying about his age and his gender. I really don't understand how your mind can agree with all of this, Danny. You're crazy. Kat also sent intimate photos to a friend of mine, and my friend sent some to him as well. Are you really going to support a pedophile, Danny? And not only Danny supports him. Remember Rudy, right? How is it possible that in the past you said you hated pedophiles and helped ban Kat, and now you never questioned Danny about Kat and his relationship and are now on their side? Damn hypocrite. This whole controversy started months ago because of inappropriate jokes, and now it has gotten so bad that we are witnessing cases of pedophilia. Now do you understand my anger? Although what angers me the most is that my friend who is a victim of Kat doesn't want to cooperate and is depressed. Someday you will pay for all of this, Kat. What you're doing is illegal. Just imagine if someone who knows you in real life sees all of this. I hope that person actually gets you sent to prison. That would be the best thing they could do as your friend. Disgusting human being. Well, it's time to end this video. But before that, I want to clarify a few things. First, I want to explain the format of the evidence. Many of the messages were originally in Spanish, so they were translated using Google Translate. That's why some of them may look like edited or fake images. However, I also included videos showing the text in their original language so you can translate them yourself and see that nothing in this video is false. As I mentioned earlier, the new update changed many of the remaining character names that had not been updated yet. This only further confirms that the game is at risk of being removed. This person has now also been banned from the game. A valid reason for the ban, in my opinion. But just think about it. If everything I said is true, this ban could also be a clear sign that I was silenced. Anyway, it's time to say goodbye to all of you. I am officially stepping away from this topic, and I will not get involved again. Skibidi Toilet will no longer be my main focus. And finally, I want to say one last thing to someone. The major Spanish-speaking YouTubers of this game have been exposed, but in exchange for damaging the image of their idols, I would like to introduce you to someone very special to me, Speaker Ram. He is a wonderful person who, despite the injustices of life, never chose the wrong path like others did. He truly works hard and has genuine feelings. I highly recommend him. He's a good person with a long journey ahead. So, Speaker Ram, I place my trust in you. Do not let anyone dim your shine. Show everyone why Killer Fetch and I care about you so much and support you from the very beginning. You are the last hope of the Spanish-speaking Blockade Battlefront community.